What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Lunalights. Now, Lunalights is a very interesting deck. It's a deck that unfortunately has a card banned, even though I really don't think it needs to be banned. But that's that. It's a fusion-based deck, and it's also a going second OTK deck, and it's pretty good at it. Now, with Tiger being banned, it's a lot harder to OTK, but it's still very possible. Because I actually took this to a tournament and, well, I was pretty impressed with the results. There's several times where I almost got an OTK, but they had a droplet just sitting there, which have the attack preventing it, but without that droplet, it would have been an OTK then and there. So it's still a good deck, even without Tiger. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. First up, I run 3 Lunalight Kaleidochick. Kaleidochick can essentially send a Lunalight monster from your extra deck or deck to the grave, and it becomes that card's name. But it's really good because the way the Lunalight fusions work is that they climb into each other. In order to go to Panther Dancer, you need Cat Dancer. In order to go to Leo Dancer, you need Panther Dancer. But with this being, let's say you send Panther Dancer to the name, you can use this as a Panther Dancer for the fusion summon of Leo Dancer. And another thing, when it's sent to the grave, you can add a polymerization from your grave to your hand. So it's got a little bit of recovery too. Next, I run 3 Lunalight Yellow Marten. Yellow Marten, if it's in the hand or grave, you can target a Lunalight card you control, except Yellow Marten. Return it to the hand, and if you do, special summon this card in defense position, but banish it when it leaves the field. And if it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can add 1 Lunalight spell trap from your deck to your hand. Next, I run 3 Lunalight Wolf. Lunalight Wolf is a polymerization, but you can use monsters in your grave and banish them for the materials of a fusion summon. So let's say you have one cool trick is if you send Panther Dancer off of Kaleidochick, you can use Kaleidochick, which is now Panther Dancer, for 1 Leo Dancer, and then banish it, Panther Dancer from the grave, for another Leo Dancer. So that's how you can get 2 Leo Dancers on field. I run 2 Lunalight Black Sheep. Black Sheep you can discard to add a poly, or discard it to add a Lunalight monster that's from your grave to your hand. And it's sent to the graveyard for fusion material for a fusion summon. You can add this card to your hand. 1 face-up Lunalight Pendulum monster from your extra deck, or you can add to your hand 1 face-up Lunalight Pendulum monster from your extra deck or monster from your grave. Next, I run the 2 Lunalight Crimson Fox. Crimson Fox is sent to the graveyard. You can target 1 face-up monster opponent controls, change its attack to 0. This can actually end up being very important. It helps with the OTK, and it also works really well with the hand trap we are running. I also run the 1 Lunalight Purple Butterfly. Butterfly, you can send this card from a hand or field to the graveyard to target a Lunalight monster you control. It gains 1000 attack, and then you can banish this card from your graveyard to special summon a Lunalight monster from your hand. So it specials Lunalight monsters from your hand, and you're going to get a little attack boost with it as well. Also run the 1 Lunalight Emerald Bird. Bird, if it's normal special summon, you can send a Lunalight monster, send 1 Lunalight card from your hand to the grave, and if you do, draw 1 card. This is an okay effect. And if it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can target 1 level 4 Lunalight monster that is banished or in your grave, special summon it, but negate its effects. So it's a good way to, let's say, use Lunalight Wolf before a polymerization or Lunalight fusion. Then you can bring back a level 4 to use it for another Leo Dancer. Now for the hand traps, I run 3 Nibiru, the Primal Being. The main reason why I run Nibiru over stuff like Ash, Valor, and Perm is that it works with the Cat Dancer. Or no, not Crimson Fox. So essentially what you do is when you can essentially send all your opponent's monsters to board, summon this and a token, and then you can change that token's attack to 0. So it's like it's not even there. Then you also got like a 3k basic on the field that can just attack over, and then you got all those Lunalights to work with. Moving on to the spells. I run 3 Fusion Recycling Plant. I run this in any fusion based deck because it's just that good of a card. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card, add a polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand. And then once per turn during the end phase, you can target 1 monster in your graveyard that was used for a fusion material for a fusion summon this turn, add it to your hand. I also run 3 Lunalight Perfume. This is one of the best cards in the deck. Sadly, it's not a Lunalight card because there's a little space in between the Luna and the Light, which I don't really understand why, but I guess if it was searchable, it would be busted, because it is a really good card. Not only can you target a Lunalight monster in your graveyard, special summon it, you can banish this card from your grave, discard 1 card, and add 1 Lunalight monster from your deck to your hand. So it's a monster reborn and a searcher. That's pretty powerful. Next, I run 3 Lunalight Fusion. Lunalight Fusion is, well, the fusion card for Lunalights, but also it's got an additional effect that if your opponent controls a monster special summon from the extra deck, you can use the Lunalight monster from your deck or extra deck as fusion material. So that's pretty good. It's kind of like Shaddoll Fusion in a way. Also run the 2 Polymerization. Everyone knows what Polymerization is. I also run 3 Pot of Prosperity. Originally while playing this card, I noticed that I do want some extra draw power in this deck to kind of like help make sure those OTKs go through much more often. And out of all the cards, I feel like this is the best because with the Lunalights, you're not going to use a whole lot of your extra deck. You may use the Lunalight Fusions, maybe Cross Sheep, Oculus or Access Code if you need to, and maybe even Gustav Max, but all the time you're going to be using all of those. When I was dueling with it, one thing I noticed, I usually went and used like 3 Panther Dancer, 1 Cat Dancer, and 2 Leo Dancer. That's usually just what I end up using. Maybe sometimes Cross Sheep or the Rail Cannon Gustav Max, but I can afford to use a Prosperity, so that's definitely a card I want to run. I also run the 3 Fire Formation Tenki. This is a Beast Warrior search card. I also run the 1 Foolish Burial Goods. Foolish Burial Goods, you send a spell trap from deck to grave. And that works because Serenade Dance and Perfume you want in the grave. Here's an extra card that I don't see a lot of people running in Lunalights, which makes you kind of confused as to why. That is Extra Foolish Burial. Pay half your life points, send 1 monster from your extra deck to the grave. And the only downside is that you cannot set spell trap during the turn you activate this card, which isn't a problem because it's a go in second OTK. You're not going to be setting any spells and traps. And that has actually worked pretty well. Like it allowed me to send the Panther Dancer, then use maybe Lunalight Wolf if I don't have any way of getting into my Kaleido check. So it's definitely worked. I also run the 1 Monster Reborn and the 1 Foolish Burial. And lastly, for the traps, I only run 1 Lunalight Serenade Dance. Moving on to the extra deck. I run 3 Lunalight Cat Dancer. Cat Dancer cannot be destroyed with battle, and once per turn during your main phase, you contribute 1 other Lunalight monster for the rest of the turn. The first time each monster your opponent controls will be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed. Also, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls, twice each. So it's really good at clearing boards. Now I also run 3 Lunalight Panther Dancer. Panther Dancer, once per turn during your main phase 1, you can activate this effect for the rest of the turn. The first time each monster your opponent controls will be destroyed by battle. It is not destroyed. Also, this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls twice each. So it's kind of like the same thing as Cat Dancer, but a little bit better. And now for the big card, Lunalight Leo Dancer, which I run 3 of. This is the card you want to end on. Actually, if you can end on 2 of them and your opponent doesn't have anything to do about it, you more or less win the game. Only does this have 35 attack, and it can make a second attack during each battle phase. That's why I run the Beard, to kind of like clear that board. That way there's only like that 1 monster. And once that one's out of the way, I can just attack for game. And the additional cool thing about Leo Dancer is it cannot be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. So it's got a lot of protection. And if this card attacked a monster, you can destroy all special summon monsters your opponent controls. It can board wipe, it's got protection, and OTK potential. What's not to love about Leo Dancer? Moving on to the links, I run the 1 Cross Sheep, which just always works well with fusion decks. 1 Barricade Board Blocker. I run that mainly because I have Fusion Recycling Plant, although I usually don't go into blocker. Also run the 1 Verte Anaconda, as well as the Appaloosa, Access Code, and Boil Sword Dragon. Granted, I don't really use the links that much because I mainly just use the fusions because they're good enough on their own. And lastly, the 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. Basically, Gustav Max, you can just attach material from this card and inflict 2,000 damage to your opponent. And Leo Dancer is a level 10. So if you get 2 Leo Dancers and by somehow that's not enough to finish your opponent, this definitely is. So that's going to be all for this deck profile. Let me know, what do you think of the Lunalights? Do you think it's a pretty cool deck? Do you think Tiger should come back? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.